Hey guys, it's 21 Maxwell here, and welcome to episode 77 of the TNA TEW series. You join us the first Impact show of 2016 as we continue our hunt to get to national and finally grow this company to the next level. There's a few things to talk about before we get into the show. First off, you remember I was going in for a couple of the cruiserweights. I was discussing that in the recap of 2015 video. I've put in a couple of kind of bids in and stuff like that, and then Dixie Carter's put my approval rating at abysmal, so I'm thinking I'm just going to cancel the deals when they become available. Any contract offered that just kept going down and down, and I think if we do eventually pursue getting one of them, then I think I may find myself at a job, and I really don't want to end the series, so I think I'll just cancel all those bids when we go to accept them, and we'll move on from there. As I say, first episode of the year. We're booking it in the Reed Arena, which is in College Station, Texas, in the Mid-South region. Just try it again. Get the Mid-South and the places round about there up in popularity. You know, this industry's it's near enough at its peak. The economy's okay, it's not great. And it's just a case of just try to continue to improve here. So today's show, 4 pre-show segments, we have a total of 17 segments and all on the actual show. Just basically try to introduce some new storylines, push some new people, and hopefully really push on this year. As I say, there'll be a lot more storylines, especially down the card. I felt last year, you know, we kind of just mostly touched on the main card and everything else was kind of thrown together. We'll try and build some people up from the lower card and hopefully have some stars of the future coming through and really pushing into the main event scene in 2016. Here we go, guys. This episode of TNA Impact Wrestling. Let's get it on the road. So we've got 12,810 people here, so a decent attendance, and we start off with the first pre-show match, which is a match that had some good action but not much in the way of heat. The Wills have defeated Christopher Daniels and Eric Young in 9:24 when David Richards defeated Eric Young by pinfall with a DR Driver 2. A 70C+, so it's 4 good workers. Obviously the Wills have got a bit of popularity. Eric Young's improving his technical skills. I think he's just going to really be a jobber to the stars now. I think it's too late to push him. And overall, mostly positives there, so we'll be okay. It's just the usual inconsistency, declining physical ability, and holding back. But you're always going to get holding back on a pre-show. Next up, an extremely short match. Sarah Stock defeated Vida Scott in 4:36 by pinfall. Just a simple match. Get Sarah Stock over. Going to try and really push her in 2016. Get them some momentum. Get her some popularity. And that's a 50D plus. Any worker improvements? None. Negatives again. Holding back. So that's not too bad for a knockouts match, especially when it's on pop. And the bout had some solid in-ring action but non-existent crowd heat. Tiger Raj Singh defeated Manik in 6:20 with the Sands of Time. 40D minus. Not happy with that gimmick only getting 44, but we kind of gave him the same kind of Jinder Mahal gimmick that he had in WWE. I just feel he's a young wrestler and he's someone we can certainly build the company around at one point. But that's not a good start. Let's see any worker improvements. Absolutely none. The dirt sheets, again, just poor gimmick on both guys, which is worrying. Lowering the crowd's mood and just lacking momentum, lacking motivation. So we'll work on the 2 guys. Manik, I think, will just be a case of releasing him. Not really getting anything for him. Tiger Raj Singh, we'll work on him. We'll see how he goes in the pre-shows. We'll build him up with a bit more popularity and hopefully we can have a decent wee career here in TNA. Next up, an extremely short match. Brian Cage defeated Tommy Taylor in 4:47 with a total eclipse. 52D plus. Another match just to put Cage over, continue his momentum. Tommy Taylor's improving his performance skills. He might be one for the future. In the dirt sheet, again, just all Tommy Taylor negatives. Just Brian Cage holding back slightly, but he's going to be one we'll push Cage and hopefully have a good career in TNA. So that's all the pre-show matches. Let's kick on with the actual episode of TNA Impact Wrestling. So we start off. It says it's a commercial hyping up an upcoming event with CM Punk. We're just having CM Punk come on and kind of just reflect on, you know, a kind of highlight package on the pay-per-view that just happened, Retribution, and show his title defense even, sorry. A good way to get an early start, get the show off to a good rating, and, you know, get the crowd pumped and ready to go. So an 81B for that segment with CM Punk. We then have Austin Aries coming down to the ring in order to do some colour commentary in the next match. That gets a 66C+, just a basic king here for the next match that's going to take place. And the match had some good action, but not much in the way of heat. Hawkins defeated Redman in 7:41 by pinfall with a taste of pain. Another 66 C+ rated match. Redman's improving his performance skills. It does its job here, it gets Hawkins over, it's got Aries at colour commentary. And that leads up to the cameras remain focused in the ring, where Hawkins and Austin Aries engage in a tension-filled stare down, neither give ground. So the storyline between the two is going to continue, the two of them are staring each other out. But it only gets a 56 C-, which is disappointment. Really disappointed between these two. Gonna have to see how we can get this feud to take off. If not, we'll have to go elsewhere and put somebody else in the central feud, but that's disappointing. Next up, an extremely short match. Ivelisse Velez defeated Velvet Sky in 5:28 by pinfall, only a 45D. Both knockouts don't click, which again is disappointment. No skill improvements. Just low momentum. Velvet Sky's just not happy here. I'm probably going to release it at one point. But I'll just wait till her contract runs out, because obviously don't want to lower Billy Ray's morale. But it is what it is, and we'll try and push Ivelisse, because she's only 26, so she's got a lot of time to develop and really become a cornerstone of the knockout division. And the match had some good action, but not much in the way of heat. The returning James Storm defeated Doug Williams in 7:07 by pinfall, only a 58 C- here. We're going to try and give Storm one last push. And Doug Williams again is just really a jobber at the stars with his age, because he's, I think, about 45, 46 now, so he's here just to put people over. I suppose it serves its purpose there. Next up, Team 3D are backstage and get ambushed by the Hollywood Supernovas with a sneak attack, leaving them laid out. Disappointingly only a 52D+. Seems this feud isn't going to work either, which is quite disappointing, so we may need to drop this one. Even though there is very few negatives there, just the low momentum on Joey Ryan and it falling flat after the last segment. But it's the continuing feud and give us a thriving tag division. And about the featured great action and average heat, Ricochet defeated Matt Hardy in 7:27 by pinfall with a Chocolate Rain, 68 C+. Just basically I thought the Ricochet's had a lot of big matches against main event stars and always been good ratings with him, so I was thinking let's give him a proper push. He's X Division champion but seems to be losing a lot of the big matches. So let's get him proper momentum, maybe drop the X Division title, and we'll definitely look to push him in the future. But it's decent. Matt Hardy get a decent match with him. No worker improvements, and again, just the usual holding back and low momentum for the negatives. So hopefully Ricochet will be the cornerstone of this company as well. Next up, Adam Cole and Redman are seen arguing with each other. Adam Cole looked very good, Redman was very underwhelming. 57 C-. Basically this is us kicking Redman out of the Resistance because of his defeat to Hawkins. So now he'll go his own separate way, and the Resistance will be pretty much now just Adam Cole, Harry Smith and Drew Galloway. Doug Williams appearing sparingly, but he's more kind of just going with the younger guys in the Resistance. So what will happen next with Redman? We can only find out. When of Steve Austin booking a match between Samoa Joe and Mr. Anderson, that gets a 70 C+. Even Austin strongly good ratings. But we'll try and get him up a wee bit, we'll continue to book Austin as an authority figure and hopefully he'll get us some higher ratings. It's already booked in, so don't worry about that. The match had some good action, but not much in the way of heat. The Model Citizens defeated the VIP list in 9:39 when Harry Smith defeated Showtime by pinfall while running Power Slam. Somehow this only got a 60 C. You get 4 workers here that are all in high momentum. Your Harry Smith normally delivers with a good match, so I'm really surprised that gets lower rating, but it is what it is, and hopefully it puts the Model Citizens straight back into the tag team picture, since they've kind of been helping Adam Cole recently. But a lot of negatives there, mostly for just holding back and MVP's declining physical ability. Then Mr. Anderson, Matt Striker, is backstage with Samoa Joe talking about his upcoming match, getting a bit of hopefully momentum beside Samoa Joe. Only a 65 C. Samoa Joe not great on the mic, so I was kind of hoping Striker would have been able to help him. So really need to try and get some ratings here that are going to hit the 70s, or we're in for a low show and maybe have a negative effect on our overall rating. There we go, great, these two have clicked. And about the featured great action and average heat, Samoa Joe defeats Mr. Anderson in 9:52 by pinfall, 78B, perfect. As I want to push Joe, his mic skills worry me, but he's definitely good enough to get pushed. He's improving his performance skills. and just very few negatives there, but a good result there, and that'll give Samoa Joe a bit of momentum to start the year off. So we've decided to switch Chris Hero's gimmick, because obviously he's now a face, so the heel gimmick wasn't going to work with him, so he's changing out a hero gimmick, and that's got an initial 89 rating, which is basically Chris Hero in the ring. The cameras take us up to the ring where Chris Hero gives a heartfelt promo, and he wants to thank the fans for supporting him against Chris Jericho. He says without you he wouldn't have beaten Chris Jericho. He says thank you, I love you TNA fans, and he's probably just a fan favourite, a hero for the fans, and hopefully one that we can really push. An 88B+, great segment there, and hopefully Chris Hero can just kick on this year. Our main event match and about that featured great action and a good crowd. Adam Cole defeated Bobby Lashley in 18-19 by pinfall following interference from Drew Galloway. Only a 74B-, which could affect our overall rating since this is our main event. Lashley seemed off his game. Adam Cole's improving Rumble skills. Overall, mostly good apart from just holding back and inconsistency. We're struggling to go to the main event and decided not to use Punk tonight. I just felt he's kind of fought Adam Cole a lot, he's fought Ricochet a lot, he's fought Samoa Joe a lot. There's not really any other heels he can face, so we went with this in the main event. Then after it, we've got CM Punk in the ring. Decided to use Punk at the end of the show as well, just to try and get the high rating. So he's in the ring, he's having a promo, just talking about how good he is. No one in this company or any other company can beat him. And I get a 92 A-rated segment there. And if that wasn't done to a cold crowd, that would have been even better. And after this, following his promo, it says match there, but following his promo, CM Punk is blindsided with his very own championship belt, wielded by the debuting in WWE wrestler Seth Rollins. Having laid out his rival, Seth Rollins takes a good look at the belt itself and even goes as far to position it around his waist in a symbolic gesture saying WWE are invading here, and he is taking the belt from CM Punk. Unfortunately, in a 77B rated segment, Punk looked good, and just how short it was, I probably should have made it longer, but I had to fit in other segments elsewhere. So overall we get a 79, it just increased our popularity in one region, so I'm thinking if we didn't end it with that angle and had a better main event, we'd have definitely had like an 80 or a 90 odd there rated show. The CM Punk promo one would have definitely pushed us up a notch. But not too bad, we're still improving. And it's just try to position Punk properly in the card and get these other guys up to the main event where they can actually help the rating and get us those 80 pluses, so we're guaranteed to be making progress in other parts of America with our popularity every show. But we'll see how it's reflected in our momentum, and we'll see how it reflects with the TV rates as well. But I'm not overly disappointed, it could have been a bit better, but first show of the year and it's going to build up to our next pay-per-view. So it says the feedback was excellent, we really struck gold with the show, so that's one good thing there. No other things there that will really catch my attention. As I say, because of that big loss at the start of the save, essentially, we're still on the cult, we're still the 7th biggest company, so we've got a long way to go. And it doesn't seem there's been any real changes to our prestige or momentum there at 74 and 80. Harry Smith's complaining about the grilling effects, and we drew at 8.93. It's a massive rating spike after our last one. That's over what, 1.34? 1.34 up for the last show, so if we can keep going at 8.93 we can only keep improving. I'm really happy with that. As I say, a lot of people now are still unhappy. We're looking to get rid of a lot of these people and get the morale up, but I say it's just people I'm not really using, and unfortunately because of the contracts they're on, I thought we could use them, but unfortunately we've just not really been able to break them in, and a lot of them are kind of development talents that we just couldn't find anything for. And again, with the size of the roster, you kind of fit it in 2 hours, so once we get the diary up, we get the TV networks looking for more shows, we'll try and get that second show, or even a B show, just to try and help other talents. And so apart from that, we'll quickly look at our size. And again, 65% means to get to 66. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over. Again, it's just working on the Midwest and the Northwest. That's the 2 I'm going to try and target, get them up to 66. Think Great Lakes a bit too much to push. Puerto Rico I think would be too hard to get, and Hawaii's just a mile away. But we're getting closer, and soon enough we are going to get to national, and that's when we're going to get a proper thing in. We're looking at a couple of wrestlers. I say The ones we won't see queuing in will be the likes of Dave Christ, Fire Ant, Jake Christ, and Zack Sabre Jr. They're all the cruiserweights. But I'm looking at bringing in Alex Kozlov, somehow trying an ambitious deal to bring in AJ Lee. I just think her popularity will help the Knockouts division, and we've gave her creative control. I know it's a bit stupid for a knockout, but you know, if we give her the title, we know we're going to get good ratings with her popularity every week, so I'm quite happy to do that. Look at Colin Delaney for just another person for the X division, same with Drew Gulak. I'm toying with the idea of possibly bringing in Lance Hoyt for the Killer Elite squad. I'll see how I go with that, because that would obviously mean splitting the resistance, but if it gets Harry Smith a bit more momentum and allows us to push Drew, we may look at that. Also looking at Mia Yim for some more talent in the knockout division, like actual wrestlers rather than what we've got. And again, just basically on popularity, I was looking at Victoria Crawford. She's young, and I mean, we can pretty much build the company around the likes of her and AJ Lee if we get them in. But I say that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. If you get any comments, please leave them in the comments section. If you haven't already, hit the sub button, and I'll let you know when the next video is going to be out. And until then, this was 21 Maxwell. Thanks again, guys. I'll speak to you real soon. Bye bye.